30.
30. Ding, 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 30. Episode 30. And they say it wouldn't last. We said it wouldn't last, but here we are. 30 episodes in. 30 times 3. Plugging away. I mean, how many times, it's funny, you know, we've moved twice since we started the show.
At least.
Yeah, at least, yeah. We've moved at least twice since we started the show. The order of the albums has changed probably twice the amount of times. Like, it's 6 times it probably changed, you know.
Yeah, we only keep track of the one shelf that we're working on.
Yeah. And everything else.
The one that we've done.
And the one we've done, up to, which was just one cube into this last move. So that's why it's funny, because like everything after these has been shuffled a million times. In the last place, I actually had it sorted out, so it was like at least a good album every show. Where now it's just like I have no idea. So well, I mean, they're all good shows and good albums, right?
We have a couple of good albums in this one.
Oh, we did all right, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So
been worse.
Episode 30. That's Vicky.
That's Doug.
Thank you. It's me. And you know the drill by now, I hope, because it's like nobody that watches the show, so I'm not too worried about new people coming in and being like, "What's going on?"
All 6 people.
Yeah.
I know the drill.
So for episode 30, I'll just a super quick recap. Inherited an album, a record collection, vinyl collection, and we're just going through them 3 at a time and reviewing them, and just exploring the old music.
We really had an ulterior motive as well.
Also, besides cataloging,
we're cataloging them in Discogs in order to have a record of what we've got. It's going slow, but we're getting there 3 albums at a time.
Yeah, it's been interesting, and you know, it's always interesting to see them. And we're not doing it for money, because I don't really see us doing anything with it. But it's interesting for me from Discog standpoint to see what the collection, the low, mid, and high is as we're going.
Oh, how much it's worth?
Yeah, because I'm kind of surprised that if these albums were in close to good or mint condition, how much is like it's pretty surprising to me already. Mm-hmm. Even at the low end, I'm still surprised, which is probably more realistic for this collection.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay, let's get cracking.
Yeah, and we're getting to see how incestuous the music industry is.
Yeah, no shit, eh? And then speaking of that, and just a quick shout out, this is somewhat related to what we're talking about, is that Ken Burns just had a mini-series on country music, and it talks about a lot of the same stuff that we talk about, how incestuous it is. So-and-so plays for here, is on an album there, met up with these people there. Like, it's check it out. It's worth it.
Did the art on these 3 album covers.
It's pretty interesting shit. So, okay.
Okay,
Get cracking.
Episode 30. Today's albums that we're reviewing are Gentle Giant, 3 Friends, George Thorogood, Moving On Over, and Frank Zappa, Chic Your Booty.
Chic Your Booty.
Now, I have it written down here because I hadn't seen the album cover. I have it written down as
Shake.
I said to Doug, what are the albums? And he's like, Frank Zappa. And I thought it was Shake Your Booty. But
it's not.
It's not. It's Chic Your Booty. Album number 1, Gentle Giant, was an English progressive rock band active between 1970 and 1980. They were known for their complex and sophisticated music and their varied musical skills. All but one of the band members were multi-instrumentalists. They were not commercially successful, but did achieve a cult following. Their music was considered complex even by progressive rock standards, and included jazz, folk, soul, classical music, as well as influences medieval, baroque, and modernist chamber music. 3 Friends was their 3rd album, released in 1972. It was their first album to chart in the U.S., first and only, I believe.
Yes.
To chart in the U.S. It peaked at 197 on the Billboard 200. It was a concept album about 3 childhood friends whose lives take them in very different directions.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's produced. They self-produced it.
Okay, right on.
And the track listing is Prologue, School Days, Working All Day, Peel the Paint, Mr. Class and Quality, with a question mark, 3 Friends.
Yeah, concept album, prog, it's like this shit is all up my alley. I'm gonna go like right away, just like I fucking like this album. I love this album.
Yeah, I did too, yeah.
It's 35 minutes long. It's essentially one big song. 35-minute song.
Yeah, you don't know where one stops the other end or starts.
And there's like King Crimson in there, like that kind of progginess. Like they said, it's super complicated stuff, but it's so much of the music that we listen to now. Like the new Opeth album is a good example. There's so much of that in there. It's super intricate. It uses different styles, timing changes. Like it's a lot of what music we listen to now is built on.
Yeah,
and you can really hear it. And
I hear a little bit of Frank Zappa in there too.
There's definitely some Zappa now. Is it chicken or egg?
Yeah, and that's kind of, so I did a little bit of research into that. Frank Zappa started recording albums in 1966.
Yeah, this was a 72,
and
right?
These guys are 70. They started in the early 70s. So, I don't know.
Third album? I think it's just that genre of music, because I agree with you. Listening, like, this album goes together really well with the Frank Zappa album that we're going to review at the end. Like, they are very similar in styles and shifts, and yeah, it's, I love that genre. I love the time frame, and it's like I said, these are coming back now. One song I thought was just killer. There's two songs on here. Working All Day, which I thought was a fantastic song. In fact, I sent it off to a friend while we're listening to it. Be like, holy shit, you check this out. And that was until I heard Peel the Paint, which is just like fucking next level. Man, that's so good. And the crazy shit about this too is that we had to listen to it on YouTube because we don't have the turntable set up, because we don't have a spot set up yet. And it's not on Spotify. It's not fucking on Spotify. It's the first time it's come up where we're listening to an album that isn't on fucking Spotify. And it's one that's... Gentle Giant is there on Spotify. This one specific album of theirs is not. And it's a shame, because there's a couple songs I'd like to add to my playlist. Yeah. Because I really enjoyed them. So what say you?
I really, really liked it. I thought it was really trippy.
It was, yeah.
And you can hear all of the mentioned influences.
Definitely. Like
the medieval Baroque, the chamber music.
Well, the jazz and the blues, like there's so much in there, so much to digest.
I definitely want more of these guys.
Thankfully, I know that there will be more coming.
Yeah, we have some more in the record collection, but in the meantime...
Oh, I got you. In the meantime,
we can listen to whatever's on Spotify right now.
Well, it's funny because I've always been aware of Gentle Giant. I've never really listened to, like, this is in the collection, right? Because I grew up and I've seen this cover. I love this cover. But it's funny to me because, like I said, it not being on Spotify, but there is stuff on Spotify of theirs. And Spotify's pretty good. Their algorithms are pretty good at suggesting stuff. And I have listened to some of their songs, but this is the first time I've listened to it all the way through. And yeah, I'm with you. I really fucking enjoyed it. Like, we were listening to it, we're like, whoa. I remember looking over, we're like, damn, yeah. Just crank it up and... Yeah. So, okay.
I would really love to see these guys in concert.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a killer show.
That train has passed.
Yeah. Maybe there's a Gentle Giant... Somebody out there, start a Gentle Giant cover band. So we can go...
That would be awesome.
We can go. Get our friends on that. Okay, so the details. So 3 friends. Gentle Giant, Columbia Records, catalog KC 31649. This is variation 2 of an original run. I forget the reason why. I have it clearly that's not on Spotify. But yeah, so it is original run, but variation 2. I think it had to do with...
It's the cover, isn't it?
I think, yeah, I think it's to do with the cover, because I have it down here. So this cover is actually not the cover from this album. It only was the cover in North America, US and Canada. This is actually the cover from their first album, which was self-titled, and all they did was slap this on the front of it. So that could be, like you said, that could be the variation, is that's just different.
Yeah, because the album cover that I saw whenever I was doing my research was like 3 people, kind of ghost-like figures.
It was pretty cool.
Sitting in a semicircle. And
yeah, I love how that.
It was like, this one's very cool too,
yeah.
But the other one was equally as cool.
But it was very different.
Yeah.
It was more like artsy, kind of artsy-fartsy, which I didn't mind. But yeah, so that's only specific to Canada and the US. Everywhere else in the world was a different cover. And that's a cover for the original, or the first album they put out, which is on Spotify. So when I saw that there, I'm like, oh shit, it's there. No, it's not there. So don't worry about it. The condition, it's actually, besides a bit of wear, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably one of the better...
Yeah, it's...
better condition albums that we've got.
Yeah, so and it's just got a plain paper insert. It's like there's no rips or tears, and it's got a centerfold, and it's got a plain
with
the words, and it's got a plain paper. It's in great condition, and the vinyl is like brand new. It looks so good, in great condition, no scratches, no dust, no mold.
It's a shame because that tells me it wasn't listened to very much.
Which would surprise me because...
And I think that's a miss.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, I'm sad we couldn't listen to it on vinyl. Like, we got to get that sorted out. But yeah, it's a great condition. So I'm just going to put that down for a sec so I can keep... So, the cover... Oh, I'm going to pick it up again. The cover, that one's pretty iconic. I actually, like I said, I really like it. It's not from this album, but the guy who did it, George Underwood. George Underwood's been on the show before because he did David Bowie's like Ziggy Stardust and Hunky Dory, and he was the guy who punched Bowie in the eye and gave him the broken pupil or whatever.
Right.
So that guy.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any info about the inside cover artist, because there's some different artwork there. His name was, or is, Hamilton K. Wilson. So I couldn't find...
Sounds so official.
It sounds fake.
Hamilton
K. Wilson. Esquire. So I couldn't find anything about that. So, let's see here. Notes. Yeah, covers from the first album. North American release only. And I made a note saying it's hard to rate or talk about individual songs as it flows all together as a bigger song. It's at least a concept, right? So it's it's kind of be like listening to any of the concept albums without just being able to listen to all of it. So, like I said, peel the paint, working all day, very Zappa-esque. Yeah, a collection.
Yeah.
So I kind of break in there.
Yeah, collection. And the good news is that we don't even have to.
I would replace it.
Reinvest in it.
No,
because
that's perfect. I'd keep that.
It's in pristine.
Yeah.
So the sale history on this album is 11 at its worst condition, 13 mid condition, and 33 in tip-top shape.
Well, if you're going by those prices, I think you probably get pretty close to tip-top for that.
Yeah.
Especially vinyl-wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to throw a shout out to, I gotta make sure I put it at the end credits. I just want to shout out to Wikipedia, allmusic.com, and Discogs, because that's where I do a good chunk of my research. I mean, of course Google searches, but those three places I can usually find what I need to find and pull threads from there. So
yeah, and I use mainly Wikipedia. I go to websites if the band has a website.
Yeah.
I'll go get my information from there as well. And Discogs.
Discogs is a starting point. I find that quite often they don't give credits to the photographer and stuff. Even quite often when they're on the cover itself, they'll say, so that's when I go over to All Music, and they usually do a pretty good job of that. Or Wikipedia, quite often they'll have the link, and if they have anything else, you can kind of go from there. I've backed off on looking for them on Instagrams and shit like that, just from a time perspective. Like, I want to get this stuff done first. So
yeah.
So anyways,
and I find that I have trouble with producer information.
Crazy.
And Discogs is usually where it's at.
Yeah.
They have a link and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So there you go. So I just want to give a shout out to some of our sources, because I know in the last episode I didn't really give any credits at the end, and people wonder that's where.
Yeah.
So anything else to add besides collection?
I love the album cover.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gentle Giant down. It's funny, when we have gonna have a break in there. It's funny when we have albums like that we actually really end up loving. We actually, I find we go through them quicker than the albums that we hate for some reason.
So this next second section will be
slow.
Be slow, yeah. Okay, album number 2, George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Moving on over. Does it have the Destroyers on the copy on the front? Or just
no. So it's in the Destroyers. All of them.
Yeah, because he did do some solo stuff.
Yeah, I did.
So that's why I thought it was important to put the Destroyers in there, because that was his band. George Thorogood is an American musician, singer-songwriter from Wilmington, Delaware. His music is described as high-energy boogie blues, and he made a home on the 1980 rock stations. Moving on over was the second studio album, released in 1978, and the album is all cover material.
Yeah, like, it made me laugh. Yeah, I was like, this is just a cover album, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, Willie Nelson can get away with it because he does such awesome renditions.
Yeah, well, sometimes better than the original. Like, George Thorogood is not doing that. Though, I will say he did make 2 of these songs fairly popular that still get played.
Yes, that's true. The producer was Ken Irwin, and there was not much information out there on this guy.
Oh, really?
Other than he was the founder of Rounder Records.
Oh, okay.
So even Discogs really didn't have much on him.
Wow.
So the track listing.
Around the records, yeah.
Move It On Over, which is a Hank Williams song.
Mm-hmm.
Who Do You Love? Ellis McDaniel.
Which is weird, because when I was reading it, it said it was a Bo Diddley song or something. Well, I wonder if that must be the original artist, and it's just been covered a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, continue, sorry.
The Sky Is Crying, Elmore James and Morgan Robinson. Cocaine Blues, T.J. Arnell. It Wasn't Me, Chuck Berry. That Same Thing, Willie Dixon. So Much Trouble, Brownie McGee.
Oh, that one.
I'm Just Your Good Thing, James Moore. Baby Please Set a Date, Homesick James Williamson. And New Hawaiian Boogie by E. James.
All right. So yeah, talk about it. Yeah, I definitely not a fan. It's like I can appreciate it because we've kind of come across these bands who belong in. If you're drinking at a bar, this should be great.
Yeah, and in my day when I was drinking at the bar,
you did.
Move It On Over and Who Do You Love were two songs that we got up and danced to.
Yeah, well, exactly, and that's where it fits. And we've come across a few artists already in this collection that fit that bill.
Yeah.
For me, I prefer One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer out of all of his songs. I like that one. Just one of those long, kind of rambly songs.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can appreciate it because those two songs that are on here still playing. You turn on the classic rock radio, it's going to come on every fucking 6 hours. But to me, yeah, it's like you're drinking in a bar, you've done a bunch of cocaine, and you're just like, you're going to get into a fight. This is what this album is. It's like you're going to get punched in a bar. Gonna hit on some old lady, someone's old lady, and
yeah, I have to say, musically,
musicianship.
Yeah, the magicianship. The musicianship is definitely there.
Oh yeah,
they're pretty tight and
they're talented players.
They're tight.
But
by the time the end was
we weren't even past the first half, the side, and it was like another side.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to this anymore.
It's short-ish.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's about the same as the other one, about 35 minutes long. But I agree with you. It was exhausting. I was like, it's really, although the different covers from different artists, it's really kind of like one speed. Yeah,
and it's loud, kind of electric guitar. Like that's not the kind.
Rock, blues, electric. Yeah,
that twangy guitar.
Yeah.
And George Thorogood has his place in musical history.
Oh, for sure.
For real, but
yeah, I'm with you. This album, like it's another one of those Calver albums. It's like, maybe we'll feel different if we, like you said, besides those two songs, maybe we'll feel different if we listen to something more original of his and actually judge it that way. But
I would guess there's another album in there somewhere.
Probably. Could be kind of nice if there wasn't. But
well, if it's original, we might like it. Who knows?
But yeah, like I said,
those are the only songs of his that I ever remember.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Are those two that I mentioned off the top?
And it's
the first two, side one.
First two, side one, yeah. So
yeah.
You turn off the album after that.
Yeah.
Okay, we heard the songs. Moving on over. George Thorogood and the Destroyers, Attic Records, catalog LAT 1054, Canada 78. Original pressing, variation 1. Condition, the cover is fucked up. Like it's ripped, it's worn, like the glue is just broken down. Yeah, the case is not good. Paper sleeve, that's fine. The vinyl says it's okay. There's lots of surface scratches. Nothing deep, but there's stuff like, superficial stuff. And the vinyl itself is super flimsy. It's one of those like paper thin,
like one of those K-Tel records?
Yeah, like a K-Tel. Oh, it's just like the K-Tel record. Honestly, you could just like push your thumb through it if you wanted to. It's that crappy. Front cover photography, David Garr. And design is Susan Marsh. David was an American-Russian photographer known as one of the preeminent photogs for American folk blues rock musicians of the 60s and beyond. Career spanned 5 decades, covered such artists as Bob Dylan, Miles Davis, Van Morrison, Buddy Guy, and honestly the list is fucking huge. He died in 2008. 2008 he died. He's pretty old too. So
2008.
Yeah, 2008. Susan, I couldn't find a bio, but she ironically has a large resume. She's done design and artwork for Flat and Scruggs, Lee Scratch Perry, John Hammond. There was a huge, I could keep writing names, but I don't feel like doing that. So.
Well, and the three that you've mentioned, they're not familiar to me.
You don't know Flat and Scruggs? You know Lee Scratch Perry because he's still around doing stuff. He's an old like DJ kind of guy, pioneer. He's done stuff with DJ Shadow. Like it's that kind of,
okay.
You know, like early versions of that from the 80s and stuff like that. So, and John Hammond, his stuff seemed like I didn't listen to it, but some of the covers seemed familiar. But whatever. Any notes? Cover album, as we talked about. Big hits, first two songs. I said George can play and sing well. This album was meant for bars. It really sucked after coming off of Gentle Giant. Like we were just so jacked up about that, and then this album came on. It was just like it was so monotonous. So I said I'm glad it's shortish and fast paced. To me, it's either Crawl Space or Cell.
Yeah, for me it's Dumpster.
Yeah, yeah, okay, fine, Dumpster. Yeah, put me down for Dumpster too. Because
it's going in the art pile.
Already, just from touching those albums, my face is super itchy.
The sale value on it is 3 at its worst, 5 at its mid condition, and 12 at its best.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a million copies of those out there everywhere too. Like I said, I did enjoy the album, but I understand him and his place. Like, there's a setting for it.
Well, and there's a niche of people.
Yeah.
Who listen to nothing but that kind of music.
Ugh, yeah.
We listen to a lot of good music.
Different kinds of music.
So we get, like, it's, music snobs.
Yeah, we're all becoming that way. Okay, anyways, GT and the Destroyers down.
Yeah. Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa, he's like the Dutch version.
He likes gold.
Yeah.
Chic Your Booty. This will be the 4th Frank Zappa album that we review.
Fourth. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, since the start of our channel.
Oh, this guy.
And so I'm not going to go into too much detail.
Shout out to my parents. Oh, hold on. Shout out to my parents for buying, probably my dad, for buying this. It just seems like something they would never listen to, but we've done 4 already.
Yeah, 4.
And some of this stuff is not like super accessible shit. Like it's concept albums that are stories and long, and like most of these are double albums.
And this is a double album as well.
Double album, yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So Frank Zappa was an American multi-instrumental musician, composer, and bandleader. His work embraces nonconformity, freeform improvising, sound experiments, and satire of American culture. He's considered one of the most innovative and stylistically diverse musicians of his era. Shake Your Booty was his 26th studio album, released in 1979, and that's the same year as Joe's Garage.
Yep.
He released 5 albums in 1979, actually. When you go to his discography, it's...
I don't think there's anybody who's done as much stuff as him.
I think I wrote it down.
You did. Right there.
Okay. So it remains his biggest selling album worldwide. It sold 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
62 albums while he was alive, and since he died, his estate has released a further 50 albums. So that's 112 albums.
Think about that, 112 albums.
And he's been dead for...
He's been dead since the 90s?
I didn't write it down, but yeah, he's been dead for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts. Like,
I want to say 83. No, 79. No.
Just scrolling through on Spotify, like once again, we listen to this stuff on Spotify because we don't have the turntable set up. Oh, and George Thorogood wasn't on Spotify either, which is fucking crazy, considering those are his 2 biggest songs.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
But back to this, that blows my mind that he's got 112 albums.
Yeah, and 50 released after his death.
Scrolling through that list is a ton. That's like a day's job.
Well, in 50 albums, that's how much music he had in his archives.
Yeah, he just like dumped it out. Like I guess when you have a studio in your house and you just spend your time in the studio, but yeah, it blows my mind. Like it really, I just like wow.
And the artists that he employed to do any of these albums is
just swing on by.
The list just go on and on and on.
Yep.
And he's he makes my head spin.
Yeah. So
you know how much he put out there.
So
This album was produced by Frank Zappa. And this was a turning point in his career. This was the first album to be released on his own eponymous record label.
Oh, really? Right? It just says Zappa Records on here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to give us a song.
Okay, so the track listing.
Yeah, this is quite the...
I Have Been in You. Flakes. Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. I'm So Cute.
I'm sorry, I just want to say, too, I read there is Frick, whoever does the Rolling Stone articles from back in the day, David Frick, or is that his name? I'm saying his name wrong. Anyways, there was a Rolling Stone article, and I was reading it because it was a review about this album at the time, and it just talked about the songs and how they were like shots directly at people.
Yes, I've Been in You is pokes fun at Peter Frampton's song I'm in You.
Yeah.
Flakes is about the lousiness of laborers in California.
Yeah.
And there's actually a Bob Dylan parody there.
Yep.
Side 2, Jones Crusher.
Yeah.
Whatever Happened to All the Fun in the World. Rat Tamago. We've Got to Get into Something Real. And in brackets, wait a minute. Bobby Brown was banned from airplay due to sexually explicit lyrics.
All of his fucking lyrics are sexually... Oh my god, okay.
Well, yeah, this is true.
I'm in You was very explicit.
Rubber Shirt. The Chic Your Booty Tango. Side 3, Baby Snakes, Trying to Grow a Chin, City of Tiny Lights, Dancin' Fool, which, funny enough, it was a parody of disco,
making fun
of the disco
era,
but it was Grammy nominated,
and
it was a very
hit.
popular disco hit.
That makes me laugh.
Jewish Princess, a humorous look at Jewish stereotyping. The Anti-Defamation League asked for an apology. Zappa refused.
He said no.
Side 4, Wild Love, and Yo Mama.
Which is also like, okay, yeah. So there we go. I'm with you. I fucking love this album. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I seem to like the ones that aren't like Joe's Garage, where it's like
it's more of an
opera. Musical story.
It's a rock opera. Yeah.
And I like this one because all the songs were different.
They're individual, but it's like it's more for him anyway. It's more like a straightforward rock album.
Yeah.
Like it's a double, and there's still the stories are self-contained in the songs.
Yeah, but it's not one.
It's
continuous
not one giant theme. No, it's
4 sides of an album.
And like just naming those names, like "Broken Hearts Are for Assholes," a fantastic fucking song. I love that song, man. And "Rat Tamago," great song. Bobby Brown, everybody knows that one. The City of Tiny Lights was pretty good. Jewish Princess was pretty fucking funny, actually. Dancin' Fool makes me laugh every time because the reason you said is that it was so popular and he won a Grammy for it, but it was just a giant...
I don't know whether he won an...
Oh, he was nominated, sorry. And it was just a giant fuck you to the disco scene.
Yeah.
And it ended up being super popular. I love that stuff.
So
and
Frank Zappa was kind of the... who are the South Park guys?
Oh, yeah, like Matt and Trey.
Yeah, he's like the Matt and Trey of his generation.
Musically, yeah.
Where he just poked fun at all the things that were so ridiculous about society.
And Yo Mama was like, there's a few women out there I know like that song could apply to. So I'm with you. Like, I enjoyed this album.
Yeah,
even though it was a big double album, I
know we were kind of like,
oh,
double album, but yeah, we both enjoyed it from start.
It was about an hour 5 in total, I think. So it wasn't too bad, but there's enough going on, enough changes that it doesn't drag at all.
Yeah.
No, I really.
And there's distinct starts and ends where it doesn't just blend. The whole album doesn't just blend.
Well, exactly, and I'm with you. I enjoyed this more than any of the other albums because they were like individual, and it was. You say it was recorded live, and Yo Mama was clearly live, but it does not sound like that. You don't hear any audience. The mix sounds like a studio mix. Like it's
I didn't write that down.
It's an interesting album. It's one that I definitely would go back to, man.
But yeah, it says a lot of. It said that it was mostly live songs that he kind of compiled.
Yeah, and like I'm to single out one song for being overtly sexual. Like, have you fucking not listened to Zappa at all? Like, most of his stuff is overtly sexual.
Yeah.
And whether it's gratuitous
and
or
non-discriminating,
non-discriminating. It's everybody's
male, female, same sex.
Everybody's a
everybody's a target.
Yeah, love me some Zappa, man. I love it even more. Every time we listen to one of these, it gets a little better. And this is unfortunately, this is the top, so anything that comes after this is not going to be as good.
Yeah.
Though I did enjoy Apostrophe, which was kind of similar. Was that it wasn't quite a concept album, but no, this one's the shit.
Yeah, one of these days we'll just have to listen to all the albums in a row, or all the albums in.
Well, yeah, just turn
decide
on.
which one we like.
Yeah, just turn on
the
Spotify
best.
and let it go, and be like, oh, okay.
It'll be interesting to see how many more. I mean.
Well, the son is touring right now. He's touring.
Dweezil.
Yeah, Dweezil. He's doing the Son of a Bastard or something like that tour.
Yeah,
is that the one where he's doing a 3D, the hologram?
I don't know, but I know that his
shit.
brother Ahmet took over the estate.
Yeah.
And there was one point where he was suing his brother, trying to get Dweezil to stop touring,
stop using this stuff,
and doing the music, using the music.
That's insane.
Yeah, I agree with you.
More people should be listening to Zappa.
Yeah, I agree.
God damn it, people.
I saw him in concert once.
You're lucky. I never got to see a lot of these guys because they're all dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess on to me. Yeah. Chic Booty, Frank Zappa, Zappa Records, catalog SRZ or Z, depending where you're from, 21501, Canada 79. Original pressing, variation number 1. So it's Bad Boy's the first one to come off the line. The condition is good. There's some wear on it, just because it's old and it's been in there, but it's actually in pretty good. There's no banged up corners. There's no rips. There's no tears. It's got a center gatefold. Shit is all right. No watermarks or anything like that. So you know what? So I'll give that one a good. The sleeve is in some. It's got some small rips on the edge. We'll give that one a fair. But other than that, no water stains or anything. The vinyl, though, the vinyl's taking a shit kicking. This one clearly got played, and I understand why. Especially that first disc or first vinyl is fucked up, and we probably wouldn't have been able to listen to it on the turntable. Like it's highly worn. It's got scratches. It's been clearly played a lot. Fingerprints all over it. I'd love to see whose fingerprints they are. To do a scan and see if it comes up and see.
Do some DNA.
Do some DNA. So so art direction, John Williams. Photography is by Gail Zappa and Lynn Goldsmith. Artwork and design by Amy Bernstein. John Williams, he's been on the show before, done other Zappa work. It's not John Williams who does the scores for Star Wars. Worked in other Zappa releases and other artists, Billie Holiday, Quincy Jones, Josh Groban. Gail Zappa, Frank's wife, died in 2015. This is really, she did a lot of stuff within fashion, but she didn't do much else beyond like this little bit of stuff for Zappa in terms of music. I think she was in some of on the albums in some cases.
Oh, probably.
Lynn Goldsmith, I'm sure she has absolutely been on the show before, and I cannot remember for who, but an American recording artist as well as a director and celeb photog. One of the first female rock photogs ever, and worked on over 100 album covers. Tom Petty, Blondie, Cheap Trick, Bee Gees. The list goes on for fucking ever. Amy has no bio once again, but worked with such artists as David Olney, Mike Compton, and somebody else. I don't know those guys. Once again, the covers look familiar. If I heard it, maybe, I don't know. So my final thoughts. I know you have a thing is, I said enjoyable. I said it's straightforward. Oh, it's an hour and 11 minutes. So although it's a double album, it's not like Joe's Garage where it went on forever.
Yeah.
But and I said Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. It was like my favorite song off the album. I could definitely gonna be adding that to the list. Your pen is.
My pen is died. It's a brand new pen. I think it just hates the cheap dollar
collection
store.
must own. Yeah, this is like of all the Frank Zappa stuff. This is the best so far.
Yeah.
Love it.
And the resale is 17 at its worst, 31 at its mid, and 42 in mint condition.
Yeah, the vinyl is just not going to get you that mid. No. I don't think it's fucked up.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, the album cover's in pretty good shape.
The album cover's in great shape.
The sleeve's not great.
Considering it's an original press, original run, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah,
he's one of those musicians that I wish was still around, because it would be interesting to see what he was doing. Yeah, but can you? That's the thing, though. Can you be that prolific and live that long? Like, it almost seems to be when you're that much prolific, you almost like you're burning out quicker. He just like threw down as much shit as he could. He's like the George Carlin of the comedy world, like the music world.
The music world. Yeah, I don't know. George Carlin lived a lot longer, but yeah, like I said, I can't recommend it enough. And honestly, if you're looking for an entry point, this is probably the album.
Yeah.
It's the most straightforward kind of rock. If you're going to go for the first time you're listening to it, if you're going to go for something like Joe's Garage or something, you're going to be in for a bit of a slog. Get familiar with it. Lots of hits on here. It's a good one. All right. Shake your booty down.
Shake your booty down.
So yeah, that's I just want to once again shout out Discogs, Wikipedia, and allmusic.com for the research, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. But it's not too bad. 2 to 3 albums in there, and like I said, the Frank Zappa album and the Gentle Giant go together really well. Mm-hmm. They are great to be on a Spotify playlist. Smash it all in there. Just have it alternating back and forth. It's fantastic.
Yeah, just put it on shuffle.
Yeah. So there you go. Anything you want to add?
No.
Yeah. All right then. See you jerks later.
Thanks for watching.